Hi, I'm Steven Sajdak.
Andrew Jupin.
Eric Szyszka.
Chris Cabin.
And we are We Hate Movies here at Kim's Video Collection at the Alamo Drafthouse. I grew up in the Bronx, so there's a lot of kind of small mom and pop stuff. One I remember called Popcorn Video, and we were awful about returning movies. I remember we kind of sort of stole a Felix the Cat cartoon movie that nobody liked or wanted, but it had this Popcorn Video sticker on it. And you feel bad when they go out of business and you're like, is this the reason? Yeah, this is the Boogens. Not enough Boogens in the Boogens. Have you seen the Boogens?
Right?
Yeah, it's just
not seen the
Stephen
Boogens.
King says, I recommend the Boogens clearly, cheerfully, and heartily.
But he didn't make it, right?
He did not make it,
Stephen
no.
King's recommendation, the Boogens.
Yes,
I don't want a
exactly.
cheerful recommendation
No.
from Stephen King. I want to this'll haunt your pants off.
It's a cameo by the Boogens, unfortunately.
It's over, easy. It's gonna be all right now.
This is possibly one of my favorite cult movies of all time. It actually got me into cult movies, but C.H.U.D, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. One of my soft spots is always scuzzy New York on location, and C.H.U.D has this by the barrel fall, also really young John Hurt and Daniel Stern in this pre-Home Alone. Classic NYC schlop.
We're lost, Art. We're lost.
So this is by a SUNY Purchase alum.
Oh, wow, Ed's movie.
Elias Mirage's Begotten, which is a tough watch. I will say it was one of those movies I was only going to watch in college, and I was like, well, that was a lot. I'll take that. But he went on to direct Shadow of the Vampire. I love that movie so much.
Great movie.
You got a Susan Sontag shout out on the cover, which is pretty cool. One of the 10 most important films of modern times.
Wow.
I might not agree with that, Susan, but you know what? Not bad.
Here you go, Eric. What do you talk us about that guy?
It is Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation. Very similar to Society. You have goop, but you have more bugs in this movie. It is quite disgusting, but at the same time, at the end, I was so happy to have seen it. A lot of Clint Howard,
And there's no Santa Claus, and this is the franchise wherein Santa Claus kills people.
Yes.
This is about a coven of witches and a bunch of bugs.
The Santa Claus connection is they watch the third movie for half a second in this movie.
Yeah.
Come back!
Who the fuck are you?
Santa Claus killer.
Get the hell out of here!
I grew up in upstate New York, so plethora of mom and pop stuff, chain stuff, and then my favorite, the video section in the grocery store, kind of off to the side. Mom takes you to the grocery store. It's the babysitter, so me and my siblings hanging out, looking through the cases of all the stuff that's super inappropriate for kids, but no one cared. And I'm walking around oh, there's Jason, there's, Freddy, whatever. So that was my crash course into things are at this store that I know I might be interested in, but I don't have access to them yet. And then, kind of finding places like Kim's when I was older, here's where all those things are. Now I can check out all that stuff. So kind of a tease growing up. I do say one thing though, Captain Video was a store we went to a lot. And I remember almost nothing about it except the beaded, beautiful curtain that separated the rest of the store from all the adult titles. Fabulous sort of bead curtain job at this place. Couldn't tell you a thing about the selection of the store or anything like that. But the pornography section, immaculate. I actually have this horrendous memory of my mother coming out of the beaded curtain.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, what's back in there? And she was like, no, you don't have to worry about it. Get the DuckTales Nintendo game you came here to rent.
Oh, God, that's another one we covered back in the day with Ali Sheedy and Lance Hendrickson, Man's Best Friend. It's about a murderous dog. Did Lance Hendrickson invent this dog?
He did, but then he has to kill it because the murderous dog went awry.
It went awry, yes.
Yeah.
There's a great moment where Lance Hendrickson is saying, we're sitting on a time bomb about a dog.
It's got my favorite shot in a movie. The dog is chasing a cat. And they're like, oh, this dog can open its jaw like a cobra. So they just made a dog sleeve and they shove a cat through it. Which is, the cat is what the fuck is that?
I have to shout out my guy, Lucho Fulci. I went through like all of his movies last couple years, but this is one that really just comes back. I like rewatching it as often as I can. This one has all the zombie stuff you could ever want. He picked up on so many fears that I would have never thought of. There's this movie that he did where someone dies by just having snails all over them. That's the death. Someone just lays and it's like, oh, she's dead now, and there's just snails all over her. Like, okay.
Escargot, but not forgotten.
Excellent.
I think this is another great example of like classic Kim's offerings. The producer's cut of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, the like total garbage movie that came out, somehow theatrically released. It barely makes sense when you watch it. This tries to like shine some light on it, and I didn't see this until like the big box sets were coming out. We're adding alternate cuts to discs, which is great. But the fact that like this would exist, and someone, I love there's an employee recommendation on here, a vastly superior version. Yes, that's totally true. Quality on a scale of 1 to 10? 4. Also accurate.
Get Tim and get out of that house right now. Carol, what the hell is going on? Beth, look out! There's someone in the room! He's right behind you!
What is the deal with the large VHS? Like, you're ruining my shelf with the large VHS cover, and I've never really... I mean, obviously it stands out. That's why I'm grabbing it. You know, what's that?
You're holding it.
It did. On the shelf. It made sense with porno because it lets you know that like, this is pornography, and that's why it's so large because, you know, we want everyone to know that kids should be picking this up.
Some big ones in there, right?
There's some big ones in the pornography, yes.
I imagine it's also because if you are a person who's trying to sell it as like, this is really going to mess you up, man.
Yes.
Then they're like pornography, this is the horror version of pornography, essentially.
Yes.
Or it looks like it, honestly, from the pictures.
Well, that's the thing. It tricks you into pulling it off the shelf because, you know, you have a noted pervert combing your horror section.
Yes.
Oh, is that porno in there? Oh, no, it's the Soul Tangler.
Yes.
Well, it's already in my hand. Maybe I'll see what it's about.
Sandra! I'm back here! So happy to see you. Oh, thank God. No. Oh. No.
What's the matter? Don't
Well, I'm the hillbilly of the group. I grew up in the Catskills, so there was no option. There was no Blockbusters. There was no Hollywood Video, nothing like that. There was Woodstock Video, which was sort of just degular, and then there was alternative video of Woodstock, which was the classy one, the gentleman's one, where you do everything by director, and there was more niche titles. So that kind of really started me down the path. Like I started watching David Lynch stuff then because of that video store, and now they're both restaurants, I think.
Yeah, obviously.
One of my favorite films of all time, Hider in the House. This is Gary Busey just starts living in your house. He's hiding out in the attic. He's sneaking down. He's obsessed with the family. He's dangerous, of course. He starts killing people that come to the house. It's a delight. Also one of my favorite Mimi Rogers films.
Julie needs someone to be in the house when she's gone. To protect the kids.
Look, I don't know what you're doing here.
Well, I'm trying to explain what I'm doing here. What I'm doing is I live here now. I live here with Julie.
I think you should go.
Neil. No. Ooh, scream. Don't scream. Don't scream.
This is my favorite Mystery Science Theater. Probably of all the stuff in this room, the most influential on my life, sadly. Like this episode was on, I remember I had to go to bed. I had 2 older siblings, brother and a sister, and I heard them cackling about this episode. And I was watching MST3K at the time, and like I had to hunt this down, and it just turned out to be like my favorite one. And like obviously we kind of all do that sort of thing, making fun of movies, etc.
Yeah, I mean, we spun that a few times, that tape, in college, and I think it kind of influenced us of what we would become. You know, we would start joking around about movies ourselves.
What?
This is exactly the kind of thing that I found at the original Kings is Ed Wood's I Woke Up Early the Day I Died. It is I don't know how to explain it. It is Billy Zane at the height of his popularity, really, just kind of working with Ed Wood, be like, I love Ed Wood. I just want to see what he has. And it is an inexplicable movie. There's nothing in this that runs in one way. It just constantly goes off into different detours. And I kind of love it for that. I mean, it starts as him escaping on the tape it says loony bin, probably not the best way to say it. But from there, it just goes to him running all over LA in different outfits. It's a time.
One of my favorite weirdo horror movies, the original Cat People. This is one of these ones where it's like, it never answers the question, are people actually turning into cats? Is this all like in this woman's head? It's all really like atmospheric, using just dread cinematography to like just create this vibe. And it's a blissful 73 minutes, which I think really helps things out.
There is in some cases a psychic need to loose evil upon the world. There is in some cases a psychic need, a desire for death. To lose evil, a desire for death, a psychic need, the key, the key, the key, the key.
Well, like Andrew, I'm from Latham, New York, that area, and I start out with a lot of grocery store places because mostly my mom would forget things to make dinner, so she'd be like, oh, we gotta go, and she would know I'd be okay with this because I could go off there. And yeah, eventually Blockbusters and Hollywood Videos took over everything. But there was this one right next to a liquor store that my aunt worked at, and she'd be like, oh, they got all kinds of stuff in there. They got weird stuff, things you would not have, I did not hear about. This was a place that had the swinging doors for the porn, but also the crankiest old man running the place, who had a movie going all the time. It was always a different movie. It was always stuff that I had no interest in because it was usually like big blow 'em up action stuff, and I was a nerd and I like would read AFI lists and stuff like that, and I'd be like, oh, I want to see all the good stuff, all the stuff that the critics like. And he was like, oh, you want the crap. This was an early episode for us, and it's one of those movies that I feel podcasts really brought into the limelight a little bit. I love this cover. It's insane.
It's a big VHS.
I'm not sure if I even had, MGM put a few of these out. I don't think I ever had one of these. But it's a guy who's a gymnast who goes to Parmistan, I believe.
Yes, the fictional nation.
Parmistan. To do a game, really, a live or die kind of game. It is insane. There's a pommel horse in the middle of a derelict town, just because, maybe that would be there.
That movie shows you that the power of gymnastics can defeat ninjutsu every time.
WPIX in New York would show this movie nonstop.
Oh yeah, I saw it 100 times. I love this one too.
Yeah, it's Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, and it's your classic. It's got great action. It's like kind of an almost better version of The Golden Child in terms of like the weird magic going on in it.
Okay, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Burt Reynolds in Breaking In. You don't really hear this movie talked about much. I think it recently got a Blu-ray release, but I remember watching like the worst VHS rip on the internet because I just had to complete my Burt homework, And this is actually a really fun and touching movie where he's like a master thief and he's like teaching a kid the ropes. Like I think the kid breaks into a house and he's already in there.
Yeah.
So it becomes like we're helping this kid, but are we?
He's kind of psycho.
You and I are in the same business, kid.
Huh?
Monkey business.
Adam Goldberg, I didn't even see what he had picked up, but he was talking to a Kim's, someone who was at the register. And to me, I saw that and I was like, that's so cool. Like, not that it was Adam Goldberg, but like that you were like this person who had all this stuff that he could come and he wanted to talk to you about.
But like the video stores were the great equalizer in that way, right?
Yes.
Like you're just coming in as some know-nothing college kid, and you're just like Adam Goldberg, filmmaker, actor, also just looking for recommendations,
Yes.
you know? And I would have told him, hey, if you want to laugh, Adam Goldberg.
Excuse me. Excuse me, young man. You've got to stop playing the games. You're a disgrace. Excuse me. Sir, would you stop playing the games? Young man, you must listen to me. Hey! I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to have food on the games.
It warms my heart to just sort of see these line the halls. I want to take everything.